So Gopal, should we start with the interview?
Yeah, sure, sir.
Okay, so can you tell me the difference between every method and some method?
Okay. So every basically goes to each and every element of the array basically.
Okay,
And some will actually go with the specific condition whenever we try to actually put any condition. So it has to satisfy that condition and then it will, traverse to that
uh,
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 element particularly.
okay, so suppose in every method, if all
Okay.
the elements doesn't satisfy the condition, if few elements satisfy the condition,
Okay.
so what will be the resultant?
So the resultant will be like, the maybe like, it will calculate the things. It has to go with every element of the
Y-
array.
yes, so
Yeah.
what will be the resultant, like
It can give me a error basically, maybe false.
error or false?
uh, we can say that like it should give me the error if it's not satisfying every condition, or it will give me I'm actually sure with like false basically, so it should go with every element of the array.
Okay.
So I'm thinking like that way.
Okay. So there are few
Yes.
ways for handling asynchronous operations. Can you tell me those
Yes.
methods?
So we can use a callback function inside a function,
Okay.
which can help us to deal with asynchronous task, as like it's actually JavaScript is actually synchronous language, but we can perform asynchronous task using callback functions as well as,
Okay.
and we can also use promises as sync await.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So which is better, promises or async await?
a sync await should it's actually a better way. I
O-
think we can use try and catch block with them.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you tell me about the event loop?
Okay, so event loop in JavaScript is actually, handles the asynchronous and synchronous tasks. So whenever there is a any task going on, so what event loop does basically, like suppose a function is actually taking a lot of time in execution, and it has to like execute, and event loop tries that it should not actually make the code blocking basically. So it always try to make the code non-blocking so that other requests can go easily. So that's how the event loop works. Suppose like yeah, we have some kind of a function which has like a set timeout in it, and there is also one console log on the bottom. So what it does basically, this console.log will execute first, then this set timeout, because it has a delay. So that's how like the event loop works. So it handles the asynchronous task.
Okay. So can you tell
Yes.
me about the call stack?
Okay, so call stack basically when a function is called in when the global execution occurs in JavaScript. So it actually beautifies that, like whenever a function is called, it first of all goes to that call stack and then pop out once its execution is done, and it will actually pop out from the call stack. So that's how the execution works. So whenever there is
So it
any,
is responsible for the execution of code.
yes, 100%.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me what is anonymous function?
Okay, so anonymous functions are those functions which have like no name,
Okay.
basically.
Okay.
Yeah, we can say that.
Okay. Okay. Can you tell me what is promise dot all method?
Okay.
Have you
No
worked
idea,
with
sir.
promise dot all method?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay.
I have
Okay.
to
Fine.
still
Fine.
study.
Fine. 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 No
Yes, sir.
worries. No worries. Can you tell me about promise chaining?
Yes, I know about promise chaining. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So can you please explain?
So basically, there was a concept of a prop drilling, I think so. So to handle that prop drilling, basically, there was like there were a lot of props were actually like chaining inside them. So to to actually conquer that, basically, one I think I'm talking about context API. Sorry, my bad. Actually, I'm thinking like that way, like when there was like some kind of we actually use dot then like this, right? So this dot then will be like hold some value here, and then it will be like this, then it holds another value, and then it will be hold like another value, something like that. So that's
Okay.
we call like promise chaining. That's how we
Okay.
do it.
Okay.
Yeah, but actually, for the definition perspective, I'm thinking like, this promise chaining will be like, whenever there is like a chain going on inside, like, something like we can
So
say that
what is that
callback
chain?
chaining. Yeah, yeah, I remember it, sir. So when there are a lot of callback functions inside a
Okay.
function, right? So
So
basically,
to handle series of asynchronous operations.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
It handles a series of asynchronous things. And to avoid that, we got like this concept of promise chaining.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
Yes,
Fine.
sir.
Okay. Can you tell me the difference between function scope and block scope?
Okay. So function scope will be like, whenever we make any function and we try to actually, suppose this is a function here, and we call it like these two curly braces holds this function scope, we can say that, right? But
Okay.
if we try to use this is actually a block scope. It has no function inside it. So this will be a block scope, and this whole global thing is also a scope, sir. this
Okay.
this empty space is also a scope because
Okay.
it's holding that window space.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir. We call it like global execution space, I think.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Uh, so let and cons like okay, let and cons they are
Basically, we can use let and const to declare variables in
function
JavaScript.
scope,
We can say that they are a blocked scope.
block scope. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So in promise chaining, there is a
Okay.
fulfilled. Okay,
Yes,
there are
sir.
few states and one of the states which is fulfilled. So what
Okay.
fulfilled tells you, or like what it
Okay.
represents?
So basically, it represents something like basically promises are object which holds the future value. So whenever there is it holds like three states. First of all,
Okay.
uh, resolve, rejected, and some kind of error, right? And if it will be actually fulfilled, then we can say that the promise is resolved. So it holds that resolved value inside it.
Okay. Can you tell me the difference between map method and for each method?
Okay. So, sir, map method actually returns a new array. It is like same like for loop, but it returns a new array. It
Okay.
goes to each and every element of the array. But
Okay.
for each, for each method is actually like it changes. It goes to that same array, but does not return a new array. Whenever we need to implement any change in the existing array, it will we can use for each loop. So that's how the main difference I know.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you tell me a few array methods which you have worked on?
Okay. So one is array dot flat. We can say that.
Okay.
So this suppose we have this array here. So I'm making one array. Constant array is equal to,
Yeah, got it. Flat and
yeah,
just tell me a few
includes.
methods.
We have also includes
Okay.
index
Okay.
of index
Okay.
array dot map, reduce, and filter. These
Okay.
are like main map
Okay.
methods. There
Okay.
are multiple.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me the difference between shift and unshift method?
Okay, okay. So, sir, shift method actually, shifts the array, and its time complexity is like, O of n. So, if we have to actually, suppose add one element in it.
Okay.
So here we have to actually shift it by one so that we can add one space in it. And but in
So, if with
unshifted,
the help of shift method, what you will do? Like you will remove or you will add? What you will do?
okay. So without the help of shift method, what I can perform the task in the array, right?
Yes, with the help of shift method, what you will do
Okay, okay.
on array?
So we can increase the length of this array first of all.
Can you show me example?
Yeah. So suppose const array is equal to this array dot shift, and we can actually, it takes one number. So maybe I can actually give it and console dot log of array. I think it is the right function. Let me check. Uh, can I run it, sir?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not sure it's gonna work, but let's
Like
see.
okay,
Okay. Node. Let me node index.js.
you can
It's not
close
good.
that debug console.
Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, is this fine?
Yep.
No. Okay, let me check. Okay, array dot shift, we have to actually shift it by one, maybe like I have to add two numbers. So something like this we have to do. And in this, it's not working. I
So
don't
you
know.
are not sure, right?
Yeah, yeah, I'm not sure about it.
Okay, okay, fine. No
Yes, sir.
worries then. Can you tell me the difference between debouncing and throttling?
Okay. So debouncing basically is a technique in JavaScript. Whenever there is a function called, so we can actually, it has like two parameters. One is the function, and second is the delay basically inside it.
Okay.
So it helps us to, increase, optimize the performance of our program. So that is the work of like debouncing. But in throttling, throttling is actually, I don't have an idea of throttling, but yeah, I know about debouncing. I have used it.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, tell me the difference between session storage and local storage.
Okay. Okay. So session storage is basically this storage basically whenever we actually visit any, we go to the web browser and opens any page which holds any session data inside it. So and it stores in the session basically. So we can call it like session storage. But whenever we actually store the data in our local system, we can call it like local storage.
So
So
suppose
that's the main difference.
there is a you have stored in a browser data,
Okay.
and you close that browser. Okay. And in
Okay.
local store, if you have stored the data in local storage, so whether it will be removed completely or it won't
So
once you
basically
close
the
the
data.
browser.
Okay. So
In
basically in the local storage data will not be removed,
Okay,
but in the session storage the data will
will
be
removed. Okay,
removed. Yeah.
okay, okay,
Because
fine.
after the end of the session.
Okay, got it.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me what is event delegation?
Okay, okay. So event delegation in JavaScript is basically very awesome concept. So when there was a problem of like events, a lot of event listeners actually can create a lot of performance issue in the JavaScript program.
Okay.
So to optimize it, this event delegation came into picture, and what it does basically, we actually add one event listener to the parent element, and with the help of e.target.value we can actually use that event as a parent, and whenever we need to whenever its child need to actually access any event, they can actually directly call the parent event, and with the help of e.target.value, and yeah, they can execute the event. So this is called as like event delegation, I think.
Okay, so what's the purpose of it? Why we use
So
such method?
okay, sir. Okay, so we use event delegation because it helps to optimize optimization in the sense like
Optimize in the, like, what it optimizes?
basically a lot of event listeners can create problems, sir. Like
Okay.
it can have, like we can actually have a lot of performance issue in our app.
Like
So
to
to
handle
optimize,
events efficiently.
yeah, yeah, to
Okay.
handle event efficiently,
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
exactly.
fine, fine, fine.
Yes, sir.
Uh, can you tell me the difference between function declaration and function expression?
Okay, okay. So basically function expression is basically we can call it whenever we store the
Can you show me an
function in a.
example for function
Okay.
expression?
Okay, sir. So const a is equal to function something like this, and it holds a value of c, and then we can call it like function expression because it's an expression here. And function declaration is this function. We just have in declare this function as c,
Okay,
and this is the function here. So we can
okay,
call it like, yeah,
okay.
yeah, I think so.
You think so?
Ah, yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
Yeah,
That's right. Okay.
yeah.
Can you tell me the difference between set timeout and set interval?
Okay. So set timeout is basically executes like one at I mean we can say that like this set timeout executes with a delay of like it's we actually it basically set timeout holds uh, two parameters. One is like this callback function,
Okay.
and one is the delay. Okay,
Okay.
I mean not delay, but we can say that like it will run that function after the second,
A
and it will
particular
compute that
timer.
value. But in set interval, basically it at every interval of time it will run that function. But in set timeout, it will only run that function to that particular interval of time. We can say that we
Particular
statically
interval,
define the
or
value.
like after that interval it will execute. Like
No, no, no. Only it will actually in set timeout. It will run for one interval.
once. It will run
Yes,
once. Okay.
yes. But in set interval, it will run for every intervals basically.
Okay. So
Yes, sir.
you can't stop the execution in set interval.
We can stop, like we can have like some clear functions.
Clear
So we can
function.
return. I mean, we can return the clear interval function
Okay. Clear
basically.
interval.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, clear interval. So
Okay.
that basically clears the interval.
Okay. Fine. Fine. Okay. Can you tell me some string methods?
String methods. Okay,
Yes.
okay. So yeah, so we have like one is string dot length. Okay,
Yeah.
string dot join, string dot reverse. I think so. And there is also we can say that index, string dot index. I think so includes this character basically. Yeah, we can say that.
Can you
And
sh-
there are like multiple functions, in but as of think like I'm able to think
can you
these
show
now.
me an example includes? How will you do?
No, no, I think in it. I was thinking about like array method, not
Okay.
the strings. Yeah, my bad.
Okay. By the
Yes,
way,
sir.
we can perform includes with the for the strings. Okay, what split does split method?
Okay, so this split basically, splits the particular string or array, maybe,
String or array?
no, string, sorry, string.
Are you sure
So
on string we do it?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So
So
split
split
basically,
will be
suppose if I have
like
to.
how will you split that string?
So suppose if I have this const str is equal to Gopal, okay,
Okay.
and here what I want to do str dot split, and basically I want to split it by space. So suppose if I have this Gopal Khandelwal, okay, my name is Gopal Khandelwal, and I want to split this string with a space, so I can actually have two parameters. And maybe just I want to just console.log, and maybe I have to actually use a variable to store its value. So I'm just making a const a is equal to this, and I want to console.log this a, and then let's see what happens. Yeah, it's giving me, let me save this. What is the file running on?
Can
Index.js,
you
right?
say like you haven't saved? Have you saved it?
Yeah, I saved it. Yeah, it's working. Yeah, so it splits basically into array.
Can you show me an example for object destructuring?
Okay, okay. So suppose like if I have this let object is equal to name is actually Gopal, and yeah, I have to destructure it. So what I can do, let a is equal to uh, dot obj, something like this, and then it should actually destructure it, something like that. Yes, sir. So
So
like should I?
in A what will be the value?
It will be like name Gopal, key value pair.
Okay, so suppose you take another name
Okay,
one and take whatever name you want.
okay.
Take an yeah. So now
Yes, sir.
what will be the value in A?
So it should be Gopal.
Arisha?
Yes, sir.
It will have developer as well. Okay. Okay, can you show me an example for reduce function?
Okay. So yeah, so basically reduce function actually does basically it shortens the array into one value. So suppose if I have an array here, so this will be my array, 1 2 3 4 5, and yeah, so array dot reduce, and it holds like accumulator and current value,
Okay.
also the index, and initial
Okay.
value we can actually say 0. So
Okay.
I'm just having two parameters here, so accumulator and current. and then we go here, and we can actually say accumulator plus current, something like that, and it needs to hold store this value const sum is equal to, so we can say that, and it should return me the sum here, sir. Now,
Okay.
uh, oh, yes, sir, it's holding that sum.
So if you do accumulator greater than current value, okay, instead of plus,
Okay, greater
greater
than
than,
current value.
yeah. So what will be the output here?
Okay, so it will be, okay, so it should give me, suppose it goes to 1 2 3. So initially my accumulator will be 1 and the current value will be 1. I mean 0. Current value will be 0. So
Current
it will
value will
compare
be
again.
0.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Initially we are assuming the current value will be 0.
It
So
assumes the current value as 0.
n- no, sir. Current value should be 0 here. I think so.
What does
So
current value means?
so current value means basically, okay, my bad. So current value should be, first value, and the accumulator should be 0. So accumulator will be like, initially we actually assume it as 0, and this will be in my index 1. So basically this value 1.
So output will be,
Output will be, let me think,
yeah, take your time.
1 2 3 4 5. Okay, and so initially it will be false, then false, then false. Okay, it should give me false as a result.
Okay, okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So can I run it, sir? I am
Yeah,
not
yeah,
sure.
you
Like,
can, you can. It is false.
let me save it
Save
first.
it.
Yeah, it's false. Yeah, right.
Uh, okay, you haven't worked with Redux, right?
Yeah, a little bit I have used it. Basically, I know some things about Redux,
You know
but yeah,
core
you can
parts,
ask me.
right?
Yeah, I know about Redux core parts.
Okay, fine, fine, fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, Gopal, we will move to React. Okay.
Okay.
Can you tell me the difference between framework and library?
So definite. So basically, framework is provides a particular set of rules and flow basically, and those who are actually working on a framework, they have to follow those set of rules and those flows provided by the framework owners. But in library, it's actually, we can customize its codes. We can we can create our own library using that library, and we can install any package from internet to use for our production. So there is no restrictions for that, but in framework we have to follow those particular flow which provided by the framework.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me the difference between state and props?
So states are basically, basically in React, states are actually acts as variables. So they can actually hold the value. We can actually hold any value in states, but props are basically, are passed inside the components like we do in functions. So that is the main difference in between props and states.
Okay. So props, they are mutable or they are immutable?
We can call it, they are immutable. We cannot change
Okay.
the props.
Okay, fine.
So that's why like context API came into picture. We can actually update the data in them using those context APIs.
Context API because of it helps us to change, and that's
Yes.
why, or like prop. Okay, so
Actually
what
there
is
was a
prop
concept
drilling
of
then?
also, yes, sir. So prop drilling basically, is like when there are a lot of childs in a component. So the parent element has to pass the data to that particular child element who's actually required that data. So it is actually called props drilling because we have to pass every time these props to the child element and so on to that other child element, so to that nth index of that child. But to counter that, this context API came into picture, I believe. Yeah.
But you told me to counter the props immutability, context
Yes, sir.
API came into
No, no,
picture.
no, 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 no. I mean, it was just a example that we can actually use context API. They are better than using the props.
Okay.
So we actually make one global storage, and we can actually use those storage to handle the data,
So
pass
it
the
is
data.
it is used for global state management purpose.
Yes, yes,
Context
sir.
API.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Redux is also used for global state management purpose.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
Redux is better.
in terms of what?
In terms of everything, sir, Redux is better because, like, sir, it's a third party application. I mean, third party app. But Redux basically provides,
Third party
like,
application or
no,
third
no,
party
it's actually a
library.
third party library. We can say that.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, no worries,
Yeah.
no worries.
Yeah. So basically, Redux basically holds very good optimizations with it. So we just make a central space, and that central space can pass the data, pass the actions with it, to that required component. So we don't need to actually depend on creating multiple states in the program. So we have to just create one state, and then a few states basically, and they can actually manage the data in the React project basically.
What are higher order components?
So higher order components are those components which takes components and returns another component with inside them.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
In which scenarios you will use HOC?
Higher order component we can actually use, so we have this main.jsx file, right? It actually, it's actually a higher order function, a higher order component, because it holds that app component inside it, and which
Yeah,
renders that
that's
data.
fine. But in which
Yes, sir.
scenarios? Like which condition on which
Okay.
condition? There will be certain conditions so that
Yes,
you
sir.
will use HOC. So which are those scenarios?
Okay, let me think, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So yeah, so whenever there is a we can say that a small component,
Small
and
component.
one component actually, other another component is actually a part of that component.
Are you sure you have
So
used HOC?
yeah, I remember I used it, but like I'm not able to memorize it basically. It has some other functionalities inside it, so like I'm not able to recall that, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, but like
Tell. Yes.
yes, sir.
Yeah, you
But
were.
like I do know about, like, what are higher order components, and like I have seen in, like in the React production apps basically, which I have created. So yeah,
Okay, can you tell me, okay, you have used class and functional components both, or like you have used,
I have used both, sir, but like,
okay,
I'm more compatible with functional components. It's a
okay,
new way to write components.
okay, okay,
But some of the projects are dependent upon class bit, and we
class,
have to actually manually
yes,
sometimes, depends on them.
okay, fine. So do
Yes, sir.
you have an idea on error boundaries?
Okay,
Have
okay.
you used in React?
Uh, Maybe I used it, but I don't remember it right now. I don't not able to remember it.
Okay, fine, no worries.
Yes.
So tell me about the life cycle methods in functional components.
Okay, sir. So in functional component, we have use effect hook to perform lifecycle methods, such as, like, we can actually use effect for component mounting and updating. We have like dependency array inside it, and for
What are the three
unmounting.
phases?
So basically, one is component did mount, other is
In functional components.
so three phases are like use effect. One is another is dependency array, and then last one is uh, clear function basically. Inside use effect we can actually return something.
cleaner function. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay. Suppose if we pass inside use effect, there is a second parameter is dependency. If we pass null
Right.
as a dependency, what will it will happen?
If we pass null as a dependency, the page will actually reload, and it will not update anything. So
Mhm.
yeah,
So
but
you have tried it?
yeah, I think I I don't know, but I'm just thinking like when we pass something null in the dependency array in use effect hook, so it should, whenever we try to add any dependency when the page reloads, so it can actually we don't need to actually render it again and again. So yeah, so that's what I'm thinking.
Okay. Tell me the difference between controlled and uncontrolled component.
Okay. So, sir, control components are those components in which the states are managed inside the states, and props data are managed inside the components itself. But in uncontrolled components, the states are managed by the React DOM. I mean, the DOM itself, not by the React DOM. So yeah, that is the main difference between controlled and uncontrolled components.
Uh, what is custom hooks?
Okay. So custom hooks are those hooks which we can create in React using the use keyword.
Okay.
So yes, sir.
Okay.
To perform any anything like any updation, maybe we can actually create our own use effect hook.
What's the main purpose of creating custom hooks? Like,
So yes, sir. Sometimes we don't have to rely on the inbuilt functions.
okay.
So to perform anything specific, when we don't want to depend upon the
Like
inbuilt feature,
you can create your separate logic.
yeah, we can
Uh,
create our separate logic.
okay.
Yes, sir.
What are Redux middleware?
So Redux middlewares are basically, the middle part where when between action and dispatch. So basically, whenever the request comes to the middleware, it analyze that request, and if any change is required, it actually do on that phase only when the request is actually hitting that middleware.
So which
So
middleware you have used?
I think Thunk and Saga.
No, which you have used.
Uh, I mean, I didn't use the
Okay, you haven't
yeah,
used. Okay.
yes, yes,
Like it is a intercept. It helps us to intercept every action
yes,
sent to the
yes,
reducer.
sir.
Okay, but what it helps in generally?
Uh, Basically, whenever like there is a middlewares are basically used for like tracking. Like suppose if we want to reject any request, so these middlewares can actually come in between and change the actions basically. So that's how like we can actually use the middlewares. So suppose if there is any action which is
Okay,
hitting that.
yes,
Yes,
I got it. Change the action, or we can
sir.
cancel the action. We can do that. But
Yes, sir.
generally, in which scenario, like there are different issues.
Yes, sir.
Like there are to make, for example, there is error reporting one of them.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
is there any other like other things which helps middleware? So one of the thing I told you, it helps us in error reporting.
Yes, sir.
Anything other you
Let
can
me
think of?
let me think if I can, I can recall it. So yeah, sir. I have used middlewares also in Express. So basically, I know like I mean, in Redux, basically both mechanics are different. But as I'm thinking right now, like middlewares are. There is also one advantage of using middlewares, that whenever there is a data which is like suppose any action or like any data is hitting to that middleware. So what it does basically, it can manipulate again. I think like it can manipulate that data and sends back whether like it can reject and accept the request.
Okay, okay,
Yes, sir.
okay. What are the principles of Redux?
Okay. So principles of Redux are like changes are made with pure functions only. single source of truth, and last is like it's read only.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What are the three main core parts of Redux?
So one is action,
Okay.
second is dispatch,
Okay.
and third is reducer. Reducer are basically pure,
Action,
object.
dispatch, and reducer.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is store?
Store basically, it stores the data, and yeah, it stores the data and just sends back
So
whenever there is a
only
requirement.
particular data, or like which?
It can actually store the data of states basically. It is used to store the
Of
state.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What is memoization?
So memoization is a process to store the caching mechanics in React. So whenever there is a change in any data, it stores the previous value and use it for computation for future values, so that it doesn't need to go back from the starting. It just hold that value and compute that action from that particular change.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me difference between CSR and SSR? Client side rendering and server side rendering.
Okay. So basically, client side rendering is the rendering whenever the client actually visits any page. So the page actually, it just render that page on the client session. But whenever we try to, whenever we render the page on the server, so this page will be actually known as server side rendering, which server sends to that client from server.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So
So
any
we can actually use we in like I have used also I have used server side rendering also, in which we send the HTML page or like any web page to that server to display its elements.
for
So
server side rendering, what you have used?
Express.
Express. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me the difference between stateless and stateful components?
Okay, so stateless I mean, sir, can you repeat your question?
S-
Like stateless and
Stateful.
stateful components.
Yes.
Okay, so stateless components are actually used in we can call it like functional components. Basically, functional components provides all the hooks which perform life cycle methods, but they don't have like but they don't have their own states inside them. So we call them like as stateless components.
Okay.
But in stateful component, these are actually present in class based components, where
Okay.
they have their own states to manage the to perform the life cycle methods, and they have different life cycle methods for their states changed. So yeah, that's I think
Okay.
that's how much about.
Okay. You have used class components, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, but like, yeah, I have used it, but I'm not confident on that right
Okay.
now.
Okay. Fine.
Yes, sir.
So API integration you have used. What you have used?
Sir, API integration I used like for create I used Axios, and also like I can use the basic code to fetch method to
Which is better?
Axios is better, I think so,
Access
because
is
in
better.
Axios we don't need to convert it to JSON. It automatically converts that data, so it's
Okay.
a better approach.
Okay. So what is the role of lazy and suspense method in React.js?
Sir, I don't know about
Okay.
lazy, but I have heard about like lazy loading.
Lazy.
Are you linking this with that?
Yes, it is
Okay,
linked with.
lazy loading.
Yes.
Okay, but I'm not aware about the suspension. So can I go with the lazy loading? Should I explain you?
Okay.
So basically, lazy loading is actually, helps us to optimize the React performance.
Okay.
Whenever there is a data whenever there is a huge data and we have to, load that data. So what it does basically, it displays that particular data in that section session where where we are actually at present at the page index. but when we try to scroll down, it just loads that data automatically. So we call it like lazy loading.
Okay.
But yes, sir.
So with code splitting, can we do with the help of lazy loading?
Uh, y- I don't know, sir, but I
Okay.
know like code splitting is also another way of optimizing the performance.
Okay, but can we do with the help of lazy method?
Mm,
Okay, fine. No worries. No worries.
no, I don't have any idea,
Yeah,
sir.
no worries. No worries.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you told me Axios is better, right?
Yes,
From
sir.
Fetch. What's the reason behind why it is better?
Because we need to use only dot then one time, and it use async and await,
Okay, that's the only reason.
and we don't have to convert it to JSON. It automatically converts that data.
Okay, what is JSON?
JSON JavaScript object model, sir.
Yeah, like JavaScript object notation, what it is.
Yes, sir. JavaScript object notation. Basically, it holds objects with key values. I mean,
Okay,
it stores data with key values. So there will be a key, and it's on the side. It will store that key data.
okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
So you have used in API creation, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay,
Which is like which holds the React code, and this root ID is actually connected with a main.jsx file,
okay,
main.js file maybe, and it has a render method inside it, which renders the app logic.
okay,
Yeah, with the help of React Router DOM.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me about the dispatch and reducer function in the use reducer hook?
Okay. So I have to explain you the dispatch function and the reducer function.
Yes,
In
use reducer hook.
Okay, sir. Mm, no idea, sir. Right now, I'm
You
not able to.
told me about the
Yes,
core parts of Redux. You told
yes,
me
sir.
about the dispatch and
Yes, sir.
reducer. So you don't know about the dispatch and reducer.
Yes, sir. I think dispatches. Dispatch is actually basically, we can say that the changes we perform in the React app, which holds the object, uh, and actions are basically pure JavaScript objects.
Okay, we know that we send the action to the reducer.
Yes, sir.
So who sends that?
We send the action to the reducer, right?
We don't send it. Like
Okay. Yeah.
there is certain function which sends
Yes, sir.
it. So
Okay.
which function helps us to send action to the reducer?
Okay.
Okay, no worries. Tell me about the reducer function.
Reducer function, sir. Okay. So, mm, reducer basically is a pure JavaScript, pure functions basically, right?
Okay.
Which holds pure JavaScript functions, which holds a value. So we can say that like whenever these function actually holds the same value, which are non changeable even when we reload the page.
Okay, so on the base of the action, what
Yes,
we
sir.
do?
Uh, mm, on based of the action we do.
We update how we update this state.
No idea, sir. Not able to think on that.
Okay, okay,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Maybe I know, but right now it's
Yeah,
not clicking on my brain.
okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
Have you used Redux completely or like
Yeah, I used in some projects before, but
okay,
right now I'm not able to memorize all the
okay,
functions and all
okay,
the theories.
okay, fine,
Yes, sir.
fine, fine.
But
Uh,
like I have to actually, go with the source code first of all,
okay,
and then I will go with the source code. I will be able to memorize it and use it accordingly.
okay, Gopal, we will move to HTML. Tell
Okay.
me the different types of list in HTML.
So we have like unordered list and ordered list.
Okay. Any other
Yes, sir.
list are present or like these two are only the lists?
I know about only these two, sir.
Okay, fine. How can we indicate the character set?
I think we used, s- uh, I think UTF-8.
Okay,
I think.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Tell me the difference between figure and image tag.
Okay. So image tag basically consists of basically image data. So we can add any GIF and any pixelated image to it.
Okay,
But in figure we only upload the images. It doesn't hold any GIF.
okay.
Yes, sir.
So what it does, figure tag?
Uh, Figure tags basically. No idea, sir, right
Okay,
now.
fine, no worries.
Yeah.
Can you tell me the difference between inline level element and block level element?
Okay, so inline elements are those elements, whenever we add those elements, they don't change the line, but in block elements, they change the line of line. So basically, that is the main difference. Yes, sir. So like span tag is actually a inline tag. So whenever we have a div and we add any span tag inside a div, so it will not change the line. But if we add another div inside it, so it will change the line if we don't add any CSS properties to it.
What is marquee tag?
Marquee tag.
Yes.
No, sir, no idea.
Okay,
No.
fine. Tell me about the required attribute in HTML.
So required attribute in HTML is basically it is very important for that element should be filled. Otherwise, it will give us error.
Tell me the difference between em tag and I tag.
EM tag and
I tag.
I tag. Okay. No, sir, I'm not sure about it.
Okay.
Like,
Can you tell? Okay, fine, fine. Can you tell me the difference between bold and strong tag?
yes, sir. Bold tag is actually used to highlight the tag, and also, strong tag also does it. But we can actually use strong tag as like uh, a side tag basically. So like whenever we need to highlight any point, it will just highlight. But bold actually does like make the font like bolder.
So bold also highlight the text,
Yes, sir. Bold
and
also
strong
highlights.
also highlight the text.
Yeah, they both increase the color. I mean, increase the. They both actually bold the text. But but the bold tag is actually we can change the properties. But in strong, we cannot change the property.
Which property? Like what property tells?
Uh, no, sir. Like I'm not sure about it. I think
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
I'm not
fine,
sure about it. What are the
fine.
properties? And like, but I know like these both tags actually makes the text bolder.
Yeah,
That's I know.
okay.
Yes, sir.
What is the use of fig caption tag?
Fig caption tag.
Yes.
So it provides the caption inside the div. I mean, it can actually provide the caption to the image, or maybe
Okay.
yeah. Yes, sir. It helps to yeah.
Yeah, for figure. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
What is the use of no validate attribute? In form, we use no validate attribute.
Yes, sir. We
Any
use
idea
it.
of no validate attribute?
It's not coming in my mind right now.
Okay, fine. No worries. What is the use of alt attribute?
It actually how we can actually use this in image tag. So alt actually what it does basically, we can add if the image doesn't load, it will show alternate text. So basically that's how I know like we can use it.
Okay.
So suppose if in alternate tag we add image one, so it will show the text as image one if the image doesn't load or if it has a broken URL.
Okay. Okay, Gopal, we will move to CSS. Okay.
Okay.
Tell me the difference between Flexbox and Grid.
So Flexbox is a modern, basically mechanics in CSS, which doesn't require any, grid. I mean, which doesn't require any grid. So what it does basically, it aligns the elements of the tick of the div inside of its parent element, and we can actually use some properties using the Flexbox. Like we can actually have some gap, so it will apply to all the elements. But grid basically is actually a very good format to use to perform our layout in CSS. So what it does basically, we can actually mention how many rows we want, how many and it will adjust according to it. So we actually use a very good property to because in grid what we can do there is also one technique using grid that we actually divide all we give a single grid as like all the grids, like suppose we have a screen, so we usually count as 12 grid as like the total size of the screen, and we can use that to make very beautiful layouts using that 12 technique. But in Flexbox we just directly add as display as flex. So what it does basically, it aligns all the elements and adjust in a box basically.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So grid is used like for rows and columns both. Like it can be designed for 2D layouts or like 1D layout.
We can actually say that like grids are basically used for 2D layouts.
Grid.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And this flexbox.
This flexbox can be like, also like in 3D. In we can call it like 3D.
Flexbox 3D.
Uh,
Are you
let
sure?
me let me think, because like we can actually think like, suppose we have a box here. So what it does, yes, sir, something like that. Aligns the layout, but I'm not sure whether it's 2D or 3D. But I'm
Okay.
sure like,
Okay.
yeah,
You told me 3D. So
yes, sir,
okay, one will be row,
yes, sir.
other will be column.
Column.
What will be the third?
It will be the Z index. It will be the depth.
Have you used Flexbox?
Yes, sir. I have used Flexbox.
What do you mean by universal selectors? What it is
Mm,
denoted by? Any idea?
right now, I'm not able to think, sir.
Have you
Yes,
seen
sir.
star sign?
Yes, sir. I have seen star universal. Yes, yes, yeah. I got it. I got it. So basically, universal selectors are like, it holds the property of the whole layout. So
Okay.
what it does basically, using the star, star keyword, we can just add common properties to that layout. So yeah, we can say that universal.
Which property do you use for image reflection?
Uh, for image reflection, I think I used translate property like in negative direction.
You have used translate property.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And for shadow purpose, which property
Box
you use?
shadow.
Box
I
shadow.
use box shadow. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Have you used box reflect?
Uh, Not sure. Maybe I have
Okay.
used it, but I'm not able to memorize it.
Okay, fine, fine.
Yes, sir.
For animation purpose, what you have used?
For animation purpose, like I have used keyframes.
You have used
So
keyframes?
yes, sir. And so basically, what it does basically, using the keyframes, we can actually perform animations in CS using in CSS. So what we actually add two keyframes, and they actually just animate the
Any
element.
example can you give?
So we can actually use translate dot translate x property, and if we want to move any div, so we just add another property as translate dot.
Can you give me a syntax for keyframes?
Uh, so we actually use something like I'm not able to think about the syntax, but yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, like we can actually use keyframes like this, and
Okay.
then I mean something like that. We actually add one time second. Like suppose this translate dot. Translate dot translate. Translate dot. Uh, I'm not able to think about the syntax right now.
Okay, fine,
Yes,
fine,
sir.
fine. How can we
But
hide the?
sir, and in animation, I have used translate property a lot. So yeah, we can actually perform any animations using that.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me about the CSS box model?
Yeah, so CSS box model actually helps us to define the elements in a particular line, and it's container box where the box is present. So what it has, like, margin padding. Yeah,
Can you go in the order?
yeah, I
Like
think
the innermost will be the content, right?
yeah, innermost will be the
So can you
content.
go through the order?
Okay, so suppose, can I use this here? So we have
Yeah.
this
Okay.
box here, suppose. So
Okay.
this is our content.
Content. Okay.
So what it will have, like, this will have padding here, first of all. Okay. So this is our content. It has a
Okay.
padding.
Okay.
Then we have like a margin.
Okay.
And
We
then,
after padding we will have margin. Okay.
yes, sir. After
Okay.
padding, we have margin,
And then we will have border.
border. Right.
Are you sure?
No, 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 no. Sorry. So we should have the border first, and
Okay.
then we have the background, the border, and then we have the margin. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
Fine.
I was
Fine.
missing this border.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Uh, how can we hide the elements in CSS?
We can just directly add display none property in the CSS.
Display none. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Why we use visibility hidden then?
We use visibility hidden because, like, suppose if this hidden box is actually useful and it's creating some logic, so we can actually hide it so that other cannot see it.
So
If
it
we
is
have to,
also used for hiding the elements, right?
it is not for hiding because like it will take that space, so it will
So
utilize that space. I mean, suppose,
hide the elements means we are hiding it,
I mean, tell
right?
let yeah, but let me tell you, sir.
Yeah, there is
Okay.
difference. I got
Yes,
it. It will take space,
yes, sir.
memory space.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And it will take the space first of all, but in display none, it will not.
Both are used for hiding the elements, but
Yes,
there is some difference
yes, sir.
regarding the spacing part.
Right, 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 right.
Okay. Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
Which are the frameworks you have worked with?
Frameworks, basically I use backend. In backend I have used Express,
Okay.
and yeah, I have used Express a lot, but I'm learning Next.js
Frameworks.
right now,
No,
so
no,
because it has a
frameworks, CSS frameworks.
CSS frameworks, Tailwind, sir. Tailwind and
Tailwind.
Bootstrap both,
Okay, okay,
and also GSAP, which actually use for animations.
okay,
So it's a very good framework for animations, and like we can use scroll based animations using the GSAP.
okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
How can we add gradients in CSS?
So we have like a background gradient, I mean gradient property, which takes two parameters inside it.
Mm-hmm.
One is the value, and other is the value too. So basically, we can change the angle, and in the linear gradient we can actually change the angles. In radial, we just change the angle three in by 360 degree. So that's how, like,
Okay,
we can actually add background,
okay,
gradient background.
okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
So Gopal, that's it for the interview.
Okay, sir.
Any queries, any concerns you have, you can ask.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.